Ms. Lefwich, you and the defendant have a child together, and you did live together for a period of time.
Yes, ma'am.
It is your claim that the defendant removed your property without your permission from an apartment that you had shared, but he had vacated.
Yes, ma'am.
The defendant says that his name was on the lease to the apartment, that you had, in effect, left the apartment, that you were being evicted for non-payment of rent, I assume. He went into the apartment to secure the property that belonged to him and to his daughter. They have a daughter together.
Yes, Your Honor.
He has a counterclaim, and his counterclaim says that you filed 2 applications for orders of protection against him, both of which were false, both of which were dismissed and caused him to incur certain legal fees, and all in an attempt to have him removed from his daughter's life. So that's what the case is about. He has a counterclaim.
And also daycare expenses, Your Honor.
Well, I know that you're suing for daycare expenses. You're suing for daycare expenses for your child?
Her half. I paid all of it.
Well, that's all right. You could pay all of it.
Okay.
You can pay all of it. It's your child. If she takes the child out to a restaurant and buys a hamburger, you think that she should be able to charge you for half of that for your child?
It depends on who's paying for the dinner that night.
That's why we don't get messed up in those things. I would assume that right now, how old is your daughter?
18 months.
That your daughter is living with her mother?
No, ma'am.
She's living with you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there an order of custody that gives you her
Yes,
to
Your
live with
Honor.
you? I'd like to see that. And along with the order of custody, did the court make an order of support against her mother?
Not yet, Your Honor.
The court should, and I assume that the court will make an order of support against the non-custodial parent. And if you're going to be the custodial parent, Ms. Lefwich will pay support for her daughter.
Your
What?
Honor, he's actually going to pay me support. And
For what?
It's 50-50 custody in the state of Florida.
Well, if it's 50-50 custody, why is he paying you support?
Because I make less than him.
I'd like to see the order. Was there an order entered subsequently to the 2nd of August, 2016?
There is another final order that...
Well, I'd like to take a look at it.
That's the
We
one I
have
was
the
looking
final judgment August 10th.
August 10th, I'd like to see that.
And Mr. Fan, even though we've had the final judgment for 50-50 custody, he refuses to actually let me have
See this one?
my half with the child. So,
Did you
That's
remove
not
the
true,
child
Your
from the
Honor.
jurisdiction of Florida? Did you attempt to remove the child from the jurisdiction of Florida?
no.
The 2 of you were living in Florida.
Yes.
The
Yes,
child.
ma'am.
Okay, let's get down to it.
Yes.
The 2 of you were living in Florida.
Yes.
The child was born in Florida.
That's correct.
And there came a time when you left the state of Florida.
Yes.
On what date did you leave the state of Florida?
I left April 19th on the bus,
April 19th, 2016.
Yes, ma'am.
You left to go to what state?
Virginia.
When you arrived in Virginia, you had family in Virginia.
That's correct. Yes, ma'am.
Who was in Virginia?
My parents, my siblings, my grandmother, she was
Parents,
in the hospital.
siblings, grandma. Did you at that time, when you were visiting with your family, because that's what you say you were doing, correct?
Yes.
Did you file any legal action in the state of Virginia?
Not at that time.
Between April 19th, 2016 and August 2nd, did you file any action in the state of, of Virginia?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me what you filed and on what date.
I filed an injunction, a protective order injunction.
You filed for a protective order.
Yes,
on what
ma'am.
date?
That would have been the end of June 29th.
Just a second. So were you in Virginia the months of April, May, and June? Pay careful attention.
ma'am.
So you never came back to the state of Florida in the months of April, May, and June.
No, that's incorrect.
Well, did you come back?
Yes, ma'am.
On what date?
We had a court date on May 20th.
May 20th, and that
Yes.
was an action in the state of Florida
Yes, ma'am.
brought by
Casey.
the defendant, and that was for the return of the child from the state of Virginia to the state of Florida, to the home state. Listen, I did family court work for a long time.